Let's look at a quick demo as to how to use Rapid Visual to create a business model and ideate within that business model. So this is starting from scratch. We're at the dashboard view where we can do all sorts of different things, but we're going to go specifically to business models. And then here I have the ability to create a new one. So I'm going to create a new business model, and I'm going to create a business model for a solar powered portable power bank. And I want to create some context of my idea, which I should have, I may have already some sort of idea from a different GPT perhaps, or an AI assistant that helped me ideate. Or you can also create some more context by putting some information from your innovation strategy, or maybe even just your skills and resources or things that you're passionate about, so that the AI has the context to help you create all the different components of the business model. In this case, the context I have prepared is I want to be able to power electronics with a tiny solar bank the size of an iPhone. That's my idea. And with enough power to charge 3 laptops and 3 phones. There is intellectual property in our ability to shrink the size of the solar panel and boost its efficiency by 20 times, making this an industry first in how quickly the power bank recharges. The incredibly portable size opens up new possibilities for customers to take advantage while addressing their power needs. So this is fairly simple. It's an innovative idea, and now I want to go and create my business model. As I see the 9 components of the business model canvas, we also see a key trigger question that can help you also at the ideation stage. But for now, because we already have an idea, we'll proceed with using different ways to come up with the various components of the business model, but we're going to focus specifically for value proposition. So I want to start with my value proposition, and I can click on plus. And then what I would like to do here is, well, first of all, I'm curious, what would happen if I clicked generate value propositions based on the context that it has? Now, one of the things is that the more context the AI tool has, the more accurate, the more relevant those value propositions are going to be. Without context in this case, or with very little context, is giving me several high-level value propositions, including some stuff that I don't really care about, innovative design, for example, but I do care about unbeatable portability. But I also, at the same time, I want to be a little bit more specific because I have some stuff in mind. So I want to get as specific as I possibly can. And therefore, I'm going to type in here, solar-powered portable power bank with rapid recharge. So these are the key things I want to focus on, and that is my value proposition. Okay, so now that I have inserted my value proposition that's relevant to the idea that I came up with, I want to also look at what other ideas for value propositions can I have that are also interesting. So I go back to come up with an idea, and now that the context is updated with the existing value proposition, I can ask the AI to again come up with 12 other value propositions, and I'm expecting to already see some of the ones that it showed to me before. But this is the part where I get the chance to start from a place of edit as opposed to think of them from the beginning. So multi-device charging, emergency power bank. That sounds really interesting to me. Adventure-ready power, convenient redefined, future-proof power, green energy source, it is. And let's go for emergency power backup. So if I was to create that, that could be, for example, a second value proposition that I am interested in exploring with the same technology, but a different value proposition that will very likely be addressed by a different customer segment. So now we have 2 value propositions that we can explore further. Now, the next step I want to explore further is being able to visualize these particular value propositions. And so what I want to do is create napkin sketches to be able to align with my team. I may have more than 2. I may have 5, 6, 7 different value propositions. So the quick way to get there is to click on this button, which is the napkin sketch. You can also get there from napkin sketches, but that'll ask you to create a new one, whereas this one is connected with this business model canvas. So I click on the napkin sketch, and what the AI will do is, using its context, it came up with an idea for my product, calling it SunSpark, and also a description of what it could look like. So let's go through this. A sleek, futuristic portable power bank with a solar panel integrated into its surface, sitting on a rocky cliff overlooking a vast sunny landscape. The power bank has a glowing blue ring around its circumference, indicating rapid recharge. A few devices, such as smartphones and laptops, are scattered around it, all showing fully charged batteries. The sun is shining down, casting a warm glow on the entire scene. I could not have written that better myself. Now, also underneath that, we have the tagline, which is always important to have, which is explaining this idea. So it's solar powered portable power bank with rapid recharge. And so what the AI did, it decided to use my value proposition for this, and it's actually good enough. And this is perfect because it's exactly what I had in mind. It's an iPhone size solar charged power bank, and it's charging a whole bunch of devices. But at the same time, I have the option to select different images. This one, nah, not so much. Actually, the one that it went with is one that I would like the most. And this is actually okay. If I wanted more, I can just click on generate image, and then I go back to see which is the one that it generated now. But I'm happy with the one I have. I'm going to keep this one. And obviously you can go to change style and change the style from cartoon to Pixar 3D style to all sorts of different ways that you can manifest what Napkin Sketch looks like. And you can always click on download, and that'll open to a new tab and give you the Napkin Sketch that you can print if you like, put on a wall and get people to come and vote. But now you have a way to create a whole bunch of napkin sketches really quickly. From here, I want to be able to go back to my business model canvas. And what I see now is that there's a green element here which says there is a napkin sketch for this. And if I clicked on this, it'll take me back to SunSpark. Going back to the business model, I can repeat the process with the emergency power backup. I'm quite curious to see what it does here. So let's not even read it. Wood Power Shield, and it came up with a different product name. Wow. Yeah, so emergency power backup. I can use the same technology, come up with a different value proposition. It's almost a pivot, and we haven't even started. What else did it come up with? So it's not as small as I would expect it to be. But in this case, what I love about this, it just gave me an idea I never had before. It's connected with your iPhone, and you can check, all the different metrics of your power bank. If I go into the description, the prompt, I can now edit it and go, okay, so it's a sleek, modern home with a darkened cityscape in the background, but the lights inside the house are still bright and warm thanks to a compact, futuristic generator system in the foreground. And then here I will say the size of a smartphone to make it even smaller. With a smartphone displaying a dashboard showing the energy levels, perfect. Okay, let's go with that. So I'm going to get a bit trigger happy and just create a few more so we have some choices. So there we go. It's gotten significantly smaller now. It's about the size of a server here, or it's close to the size of an iPhone. But yeah, this is good enough. Let's go with this. Again, back to our business model. And now we have our ideas visualized in the form of napkin sketches. The next step we would like to do is to create customer segments. And so for this one, we want to be able to look at, the context again is now updated with these two value propositions. And if we wanted to add more context, we can always go back to our settings and add additional context. But for example, here, I want to create a new customer segment. And already I have in mind, especially for the top value proposition of the small power bank, that adventure seekers and camping enthusiasts would be, the place that my mind would go to. But I'm really curious to see what does the AI come up with. And so we have very interesting emergency responders, which creates an interesting pivot for even a different type of device that's geared towards them. There we go with the outdoor enthusiasts, festival goers, construction workers, off-grid, humanitarian aid workers. This is very interesting. Remote workers. But let's go with outdoor festival goers. So we'll choose that. And now we can always create another customer segment, go back to generating 12 different customer segments, or we can type one on our own if we wanted to, influence the direction in a way unrelated to what the AI has told us. So let's put in emergency. Well, it already got to me first. So event organizers, food truck operators, never considered that. Film crews. So let's go with food truck operators. But for food truck operators, we would have to go back here and maybe change the value proposition, or actually it could be for emergency power backup. So let's see. Now we have customer segments. What would be the next step we would have to take? Okay, so what we want to do now is create a customer profile of the chosen customer segments. So I'm really interested to see what this food truck operator customer segment has in mind. So as I scroll over the sticky, I can see the customer profile, the circle, show up here. And if I click on that, I get to choose a value proposition that I want to create the customer segment for. So is this for solar powered portable power bank with rapid recharge, or is it emergency power backup? And obviously, if I wanted to kind of refine this, I can click away from it, change my value proposition or edit it, and then go back here and link it. So I want it for emergency power backup. And I click on create customer segment. And now what will happen is that we'll see all the context being incorporated into a customer segment of food truck operators, which is an independent entrepreneurs and operators in the food service industry, picked an age bracket of 25 to 50, who own and operate businesses in urban and suburban areas, frequently participating in outdoor events and festivals, and rely on electricity to power their equipment. So now we have a customer segment, but beyond that, we also have a persona. This is Aisha Patel, and she's 38, chef and caterer. She's passionate chef who's turned love for food into a successful catering business. She owns a popular food stall that participates in outdoor events. This is perfect fit. But if I wanted to go, you know what, let's just have some variety here so we can see maybe there is a different persona that might be more applicable to what we have in mind, or actually maybe we're just curious to see what the AI can come up with. So we have two more. As you can see, that's loading now, different locations. We also have this personification now, so we can see what they look like. We can call them by name when we're discussing with our team, and so on and so forth. Let's keep working with Aisha here. What we see on the right part, though, is her customer profile based on what the AI thinks her top jobs, pains, and gains might be. And when they're ranked from the highest value to Aisha to the lowest value. And the other thing we can see is this transparency that indicates these are the top three that we really need to worry about when it comes to validating this customer segment with interviews that we're going to conduct at some point. Another thing to note is that you have the jobs tagged with an F if they're functional jobs like increase sales and revenue, emotional jobs like differentiate from competitors, or see there's a social job here, which is build brand awareness for my particular company. And a little icon that symbolizes what was generated by AI, which at this point is practically everything. So if Aisha cares about sales and revenue, or differentiating from competitors, or managing business operations efficiently, and you don't agree with that, you can either delete it, or you can move something further higher up. And as soon as you've done that, you've also accepted it. So now you own it because you've influenced it. It means you've seen it. And you can go through all of them and make sure that you agree with. So basically you make all these gen by AI images, most of the ones that need to be edited, to disappear. Same thing with pains and gains. For gains, we have a tag for required gains, desired gains, like increased sales and revenue growth, which actually I don't think is accurate here. We have it as a job, it's repeating as a gain, but I want to create another one. And so I can type it in and go from there. Or I want to look at expected gains or even unexpected gains, access to new business opportunities and partnerships, right? So that'd be an unexpected gain. But as you saw, it ranks fairly low. Now, let's see what we can do here. Improved food quality and consistency. Right, wow, okay. So I'm going to bring that to the top because I think it's super important. Equipment failure during events, I'll leave that at the top, and differentiate from competitors, I'll put that, maybe enhance customer experience. I'll make that number one. So why am I making them number one? Because the next thing I want to do is to generate a customer value scene that allows me to make explicit. At this stage of the process, we have our customer segment, our persona, and a profile that we've gone through and we agreed to a certain degree, but we want to explore what does our customer value look like when we make it explicit to our customer. And to do that, we're going to use the customer value scenes. On top, you can see you can navigate back to your business model, the napkin sketch relevant to this idea that's relevant to this customer segment, or create a customer value scene so that we have the tray that pops up and you can create multiple value scenes. Now, this is going to be a new customer value scene for the solution of emergency power backup that is already in the database of the AI, so it knows all the context of what you're offering, but it's asking us, choose a customer job you want to manifest in this customer value scene. And I want to work on enhanced customer experience. Now, these are the top three jobs from the jobs and pains, as we have been able to select them before. And I want to choose a customer pain, equipment failure during events, right? Which is relevant to this particular job. And what I do is I click on create customer value scene. And what the AI is doing now, using all the context that it has, it's creating the customer value scene, but not just the visual, it's also creating the prompt for the visual and the script that needs to be presented for the visual to come to life. Now, in this case, we have pre-selected the 3D Pixar style, and it's made it look like Aisha in some ways. Let's see what it actually chose to do. In the moment of need, it says, my generator just broke down and I'm losing customers by the minute, right? So this is the customer experience aspect. Today, I hate relying on this dirty old diesel generator, but it's better than nothing. But tomorrow, with my new emergency power backup system, I can focus on what matters, serving up a storm. I would change nothing here, but if I wanted to, I could go into the prompt and understand what was written inside here, how did it create it, or I could generate more images. And with our customer value scene in place, we can always export it into a PDF so we can have a way to use it in our PowerPoint or anywhere else where we're going to have a chat with a customer to validate if this moment of need is true and what they think of our potential solution or approach to a solution. Now, with this in place, you can also change style and go for a more photorealistic image of Aisha or other styles that are available in the library. Click on Generate All and go through selecting which one suits you best. And once we've done that, we can go back to our customer profile and we can click again on the customer value scenes and create more for different jobs and different pains. When we're done with that, we can go back to our business model, and now it's time to look at the rest of the business model as it pertains to this particular context that we provided, which is an improving context the more we work on it. So we have value propositions and customer segments. What could it look like if we generated everything else? Now you can also, instead of click on generate all, you can click on generating one by one to be more selective of your context, and then click on generate all when you're feeling that, I'm stuck now, I need some assistance, I don't know what I'm supposed to put in all of these different boxes, and then again, you're at a place of edit. And here's our business model canvas filled in. For simplicity, we won't go through the whole thing, but I just wanted to focus on revenue streams. Having licensing fees and product sales is interesting. I expect I would sell the product. Maybe a licensing fee isn't what I had in mind, so I'll get rid of that. And I would go into the revenue streams and say, well, what alternative revenue streams do you think we can use? I already have one in mind, which would be subscription. Could we sell this on a subscription model? What would that look like? And that's something that we can also test using several customer value scenes. So there we go. Subscription service is here. Energy storage as a service. There's a bunch of interesting things, but I'm going to pick the one I like the most and create that element. So now I have that again. The blue icon disappears because I've influenced that. And as you go through this, you can do this for every single one of the boxes, generating ideas, brainstorming step by step until you have a business model that you're happy with. And the final step is you have a business model that you're happy with, you have your value propositions, you have your napkin sketches, you have your customer segments, and we can see here that it generated even more, so you can obviously remove those or explore them further. You have basically the makings of a very good set of assets to start having interviews, because you also have your customer value scenes, and then you go out and you do interviews, you come back and it's time to present the idea to a group of decision makers, or you want to put it together to show it to investors. And now we need to create a logo. So you go into your value proposition, you click on logo, and you don't need to spend a whole bunch of time and money to come up with something for the sake of having a nice looking slide deck, because at this point we're not building any company, but we're still in the search and design. And what you see me do here is click on creating a bunch of logos, but at the same time I can go into this box and change the prompt. I don't want it to be called Power Shield. I can edit what this looks like and keep generating different logos that are going to help me visualize what my idea looks like. And that brings us to the end. If we go back to the dashboard, we now have the everything we created, a business model, 2 napkin sketches, 1 customer segment with the profile. We have 1 customer value scene and even a logo. As we continue to do this, we can start to see how the volume increases, and the way to control that will be through creating tags. And a tag is simply a folder where you can create a tag and say version 1. Maybe you can label that in some way, and then you can go to any item that you have, tag it, and then you can view only the ones that are in version 1, all of them, or no tag. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy ideating with the help of AI.